Hello. Hello. I'm Alexa Hampton. This is 52 Weeks of Design Live. And today we are doing it a little earlier because I have a flight home. Yay me. And sweet Sasha there she is. Hey Sasha has agreed to do this a little earlier. Hi.
Hi.
How are you? You look gorgeous.
Oh, thank you. I'm
What?
out.
Ugh, me.
I'm out in the Hamptons right now, and I've been dealing with some landscaping, so I'm a little
For
frazzled.
you. I am dressed for you.
Oh my God, you
Um,
look
I
great.
am also dressed for me. I have a weird neon thing being an 80s child. Um,
I love the glasses and the lipstick coordination. It's perfect.
there are like three colors and two pencils. It's a very elaborate process. So, Sasha, how are you? I haven't seen you since our last Kips Bay, New York meeting.
I'm good. Everything's going well. How are you?
I am great. I'm on the road again. You're already getting people saying, wow, how much they love your work, um, which is true. So the first time I saw your work in great, in a proper context, which is, I think, true for a lot of people who aren't your clients, was at the Kips Bay 3 years ago, 4 years ago, 3 years ago. And you did the Memphis style staircase and you blew the roof off.
hmm
And it was so thrilling and it was such a bold statement. Tell me about how you got the cojones to do that.
The idea kind of just came to me in exactly 8 minutes. I was
Thank
walking
heavens.
up, yeah, I was walking up and down the stairs, and I remember, when you go into Kips Bay and you kind of like write your top three favorite rooms and what room you want to do. I originally wanted to like turn the living room into like an Upper East Side nightclub. And
Yeah.
in my mind, I was like, oh, I'm going to get the living room and I'm going to turn it into a club. And then obviously, like being like little old me, never having done a Kips Bay before and being
Actually, a
amongst
staircase is a huge commitment.
yeah, I was amongst legendary designers. I'm like, obviously, I didn't get the living room, and I got the staircase, and it was so frightening at first because I was like, how do I make an impact and kind of like show who I am and what I'm about, and design a staircase in a way that would excite people, that would inspire people, and I really wanted to do something like totally different, authentic, and I wanted to kind of like you know, change the impression of Kips Bay and what had previously been designed there, and just to like do something innovative. So I found myself like dancing up and down the stairs. I found myself like jazz hands and like kind of kind of like doing this whole
Does
thing.
this happen to you a lot? Is this
Yeah,
something I need
like
to be on the lookout for?
if it was like a living room, maybe I'd be swirling around the living room coming up with ideas. But I just like, and then the idea just came to me. I started thinking about like all these Memphis Milano motifs, like, you know, pizza wheels and polka dots and squares and rectangles and squiggles. And then I started thinking about like this like 1980s Miami Art Deco revival color palette in Miami Vice. And I started thinking about the space more as an installation and less as a room.
Totally.
And so all these ideas kind of came about. And then in one day, because I was leaving to Antarctica for 3 weeks after,
As one does.
I, as one does, I went from the rug company to Farrow and Ball to my friend George at Vutsa. And between all my collaborators, we designed three custom wallpapers, three custom rugs, and an array of custom colors all in one day
And got it done all in
and got
situ.
it done and got it done. And then kind of the furniture came after, and the furniture was and this was like, it was a tight space. The landings were not that deep, it was narrow, but I wanted again to like, display furniture. So I kept within like contemporary slash 1980s Memphis look, and a lot of stuff we bought, we procured from the space. We have like some collectible design from Freedom and Benda and from Carpenter's Workshop. And then we have a mixture of like 80s products like the Sotsas mirror that's so iconic now. And
Yeah.
So it all kind of came together after we had like designed the initial space.
So are you, I mean, I think you are, but I mean, I've really been following you since then. So that was this great, huge statement. And that's very brave of you because, at least in my opinion, when I first did Kips Bay, but I also had a lot of baggage coming into it. You know, nobody who knew who the hell I was, but they knew who my
When
father
was
was.
this when you first designed?
1999.
Wow. How
And
long
I
were you
was, oh, my
designing?
father had died the year before. Oh, I've been working
Wow.
for him forever.
Right.
But
Right. But
I
like
was,
on your own, basically.
yeah.
Yeah.
So like less, I don't know, just a year and
Hmm.
a couple months, and I was 28.
Gosh.
And so I did the exact reverse. And I used to think to myself that that was the way to do it. Like, if you get a show house and you're young, and you've completely changed my mind. So let me say that before continuing. So I thought that, okay, I've got this cracked. In the beginning, you you do like your work so that people hire you to do X for them, which actually I'm sure did happen with the staircase. But I thought to myself, I'll go bold later when I've been, you know, when I'm a known entity or quantity. But I really think you did it right. Like, why the hell slow pedal anything? You've got an opportunity. It's one of the great show houses. It's Cause, which we should mention, is amazing. Giving money to about 10,000 kids in the Bronx, our people, our neighbors, you know, supporting them.
I also felt like I actually went to Kips Bay and I spent time with the kids and I saw the whole I saw everything they were doing over there, and I also wanted to
Which
create
everyone
something.
should do.
Yeah. And I also wanted to create something that would inspire them and would connect with them. I think that like our community is so insular, and we're such a bubble of a community that a lot of people are like fearful of what we do, and oh, it's like so high end, it's so expensive, like it's not, like I would never be able to enjoy this or appreciate or understand this. So I felt like doing something kind of like wacky and fresh, young and different would really excite them and inspire them. And
And
whether,
but in hindsight, not so wacky. So much
yeah,
fun. Why not
yeah,
live with your fantasies?
yeah. So that was also kind of my idea around the space. I thought that that was interesting too.
Did you hook up? So anyway, do you do a lot of that work now for your clients? Were you doing that kind of work prior, or
Um,
was it really like a shot in the arm?
I think that Kips Bay is so special because it gives you a platform to kind of do whatever you want. And obviously, we don't get that luxury when we're working with clients. Some clients kind of give you free reign, but there's always like a push and pull, you know, in certain aspects. But I think that from from Kips Bay, I started working with Versace and I started designing for Donatella.
Yeah. Okay. So you've got to tell that story and how that all came to pass, because that's,
Yeah, they
I
just
want
like,
to be like, wow.
I was literally sitting on my couch, minding my own business, like working, sketching, and then I started getting these like DMs from someone in her office, and then
And we were like, I'm being punked.
and I thought I was being catfished, and then then like 5 minutes later, I never give out my cell phone, but I gave out my cell phone because I was obviously so intrigued,
Yeah.
and it was a call from Milan, and I was like on a plane 3 days later, and it was like a dream come true. I mean, and
That
I
is
was,
a no risk, no reward lesson.
yeah, and actually my my first fashion memories as a little girl was like my first designer dress was Versace. I remember like the first time I ever felt jealous of my mom. She was in a Versace gown. My grandparents' apartment in my like all
This,
Scarface Versace. Like, and
wait, where are you from?
I'm from Manhattan, but you know, I've been going to Miami like my whole life. We've always had a place there. But my mom passed away 4 years ago. My
I'm
grandparents
so
before
sorry.
that. I kept making a joke that like the stars have aligned, and like Gianna making a deal with my mom and my grandparents in heaven, and like they like brought this for me. So it was just like a match made in heaven, and it was great. And the way that we were designing, like, you know, kind of in the aesthetic. That's my new fiance. He just walked past here.
Did you have an old fiance?
No, but it's like
Like,
new.
how
It's
many
a new.
fiancés do we have? This is the new
just
one. There's
just
another one
one,
coming in
but
an hour.
new.
Congratulations. Is
We're
that
getting
new?
yeah, we're getting married at my house August 1st, so things are a little
Yay.
stressful. Yeah,
Hence you're working in the garden.
Mhm.
Are you wearing Versace?
I am.
Of course you are. Oh my God, I
I
love this so full circle. By the
Yeah,
way, your references and the fact that I said, did you think you were punked? And you said, yeah, I thought I was being catfished. Pretty much dates us. Like,
yeah.
I know precisely how old you are now. I'm like, and you with Miami Vice. It's just like, I
Yeah.
love it. Um, so congratulations. That's wonderful news. So
Thank
this has been like you've only been in business 6
I've been
years?
in business. No, I've been in business for 8 years.
And like this last half has just
Yeah,
exploded like a bomb.
it's definitely exploded. I worked at a gallery for 4 years in Chelsea, and I studied art history and fine arts. I lived in Paris, and I kind of became obsessed. I was in college in Paris, and I became obsessed with interior design. And I lived in Saint Germain, where all the antique dealers were, and I'd go to the
Sure.
Marché aux Puces every weekend. But I was like fighting becoming a decorator because I was like in the contemporary art world, and I thought like
Sure.
I had to become a decorator.
Excuse me. Turning that off.
Um, I finally left my job, and my first project and my first client was actually my mom.
Of
And
course.
I said, Mom, I'm going to do your apartment. She had decorators before that, and she hated it. And I was like, Mom, I'm going to do your apartment, but I'm not going to show you anything I'm buying, and you're not giving me a budget. I'm just going to do it.
Wow.
Because I knew, like, my mom really set me up for all the Upper East Side, New York City ladies. You know, to this day, she will be my most difficult, my most on top client. I mean, where's the bills? Where's the invoices? When's the delivery? The insurance. So she really set me up, and I did her apartment, and I got like a lot of press from it, and everyone really loved me. And I was 26 at the time, and then
27?
my career just took off from there. 26.
26. So great.
Yeah, that's how it all started.
It is so exciting to see bravery rewarded and like chutzpah because it's so easy to be boxed in by fear and you are such a great role model. Um, yeah, good for
I
you. I mean,
appreciate
that's
that.
wonderful.
I think that, a big part of my belief is I really believe in like confidence, and I think it's so important. And I think, I whether you have good style or bad style, I appreciate personal style, and I
Yeah, yeah.
appreciate, just like going for it and creating new things and being different and standing out. And I just I think it's special. Like,
Yeah.
even a lot of the people I surround myself with are characters, and they're eccentric and they're funny and interesting, and it entertains me, and that's kind of like how I design too.
What's the coolest thing you're working on right? Oh, well, wait, back to Versace real quick because that's so exciting. So you are DM'd by Versace. You give them your phone number. They call.
Hmm.
You are convinced that you're having a séance, and
Yeah.
your Ouija board is
Hmm.
pointing to your
Yeah.
parents. And
Hmm.
what did they say they wanted to do? And I also love their investment in youth and coolness.
Yeah. They wanted me to design a collection for Salon de Mobile, and they kind of gave me free range, and I like, get on this Emirates flight to Milan, which was like absolutely amazing, and
First
like
class.
uh, business class, but it was great.
Okay.
And then I get on this flight, I
I
get
mean,
picked
first
up.
is like the cost of a car.
Yeah,
So I hear you.
driver, beautiful hotel suite, atelier where everything's printed out. There's archival prints, there's colors, there's fabrics, there's a whole team, and it's such an amazing company. It really felt like a family, and everyone was so excited to be working with me, and I had so much support and like love and attention from everyone. And there was the hair, the makeup, the clothes, the accessories, the interviews. I mean, it was literally like right out of a movie.
Wow.
It was
Wow.
really really, really crazy. And then
And you didn't have to be a hooker.
no, I didn't have to be a
The
hooker.
movie always has that detail.
I know.
Kind of a
And
bummer.
then literally, and then we did another collection for Art Basel in Miami the following year. And it was it was amazing because again, that was an opportunity where I was able to like kind of have free reign and, you know, work with a company where the sky's the limit.
Yeah, totally. And I can't imagine that there are that many.
Yeah.
I mean, even when there are companies where it truly is sky's the limit, I doubt they'd say, go for it.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that like it's
Fashion, they
always
know how to put on a show.
exactly. They know how to put on a show, and in some ways I wish that the design community would kind of follow and kind of, you know, put on that kind of show and I think that's happening more now.
You know what is a really, back to Kip Spade, what's a really great thing about Kip Spade is doing these days is they're trying to get more and more sponsors to help the designers do things for free.
Yes, which
Because
I love.
which is huge. So what
Mm-hmm.
you just said about going to the rug company and going to Farrow and Ball, and you know, like you were, they obviously were all in. But
Mm-hmm.
you know, when a show house like Kips Bay is starting to do, gives you the electrician and has somebody building some millwork, if you don't have your own millworker and you don't need like a huge program of millwork, like that really makes it all possible. And
It
it
really
used to
does.
be so terribly expensive that it just, you know, was such a commitment. And that's why there were many fewer, in my opinion, young
Mm-hmm.
people doing it because you really needed to have bank.
Uh-huh.
But now
And
you
I
can have real partners and
yeah,
you can help it
definitely.
happen.
And I think that like it's so important for brands to collaborate and have designers actually designing products. I think that it's like it's so on trend right now to for like collaborations. We see it in fashion all the time, you know?
Yeah.
So I think that like, you know,
Well,
doing
and collaborations always existed, but credit was not always given
yeah.
to one or the other party.
Hmm. Hmm.
And credit's a big thing. Like we all need it to get going.
Of course, of course. So, you know, I think that like I love designing for other brands. It's definitely like my passion when it comes to, you know, when it comes to design. It's where I'm able to kind of be free and also in a way like teach people and educate people that, you know, about design and about those whimsical little statement pieces that make your home.
Yeah, totally. The editorial moments, the things that you're not going to see in anybody else's home. It's
Exactly.
yours. It's totally original. Wow, I live in a Sasha Design 20-room, 100-year-old house. You are special, Ed. You don't have to just feel special. You are special.
Ed is
What are some
great.
of the things?
Ed owns
Yeah.
that restaurant Red Farm. I don't know if
Oh,
you've ever
cool.
been. Yeah.
Yeah.
Best
Yum.
tiki duck in town.
um, yeah, lucky Ed, very lucky Ed. Um, what are some of the projects you're working on right now that are very exciting to you?
So I'm finishing up my personal home in East Hampton where my wedding is going to be. So
Which is
very excited
huge.
about that. I'm working on an amazing home in Wellington in the Equestrian Estates, which has been so fun for
Sure.
me because my client is like not doing the typical like horsey decor and it's like
Mhm.
super colorful and fun and modern and cool. I'm working on an amazing estate in Fairfield, which I'm very excited about, and that is going to have more of like this country, French, English, European feel to it.
Nice.
um, yeah, working on another license, an outdoor furniture collection with Walters Wicker, and I'm starting a new restaurant in New York
What?
on 81st Street and 3rd Avenue, which
Wait,
is
do you
going to
have
have.
other restaurants?
This is the one restaurant I'm currently working on now.
Because you do like this is a my new fiance thing again.
Oh,
Maybe,
right,
yeah.
right. I
Um,
did do another restaurant actually for Ed a couple of
okay.
years back. But this restaurant I'm very excited about. I love doing like commercial spaces. I kind of feel like my interiors are meant to be enjoyed by the public. So
Cool.
I'm really, really excited about that. And working on also a penthouse in Manhattan. My client's Indian, so we have beautiful colors in that place too, and she has amazing taste. So yeah, a lot of fun things happening.
Um, Shout out to your Indian client with love and support. What's happening in India is so
Yes.
freaking scary.
Hmm.
I have wonderful Indian clients who I just like. I'm so stressed out about them and their family. And
Yeah.
um, do you travel all the time?
So pre-COVID, I was literally gone for every month. I was gone for half the month. I mean, there'd be times where I'd go from
For fun or
Milan
for work or what?
for it's usually work with a little like pleasure mix in between. Like there was a time I had 3 suitcases with me. I went from Milan to Marrakesh to Atlanta to High Point. Can you believe there was another time I went from
It'd be so cool if
Milan?
you lost your High Point thing and
I
only had your Marrakesh
I
bag.
know. There was a time when I was Paris, Milan, Miami, Tulsa. Like the weirdest, but I would just, pack my 2 or 3 suitcases, and I was traveling all the time. I mean,
Are you on your own when you do this, or do you have someone from the office with you?
I'm on my own always. And but like when you're going to like these like design fairs, your High Point, you're at Deco off, Maison Objet and Salone, like you have your design community friends with you. So like
Sure, sure,
we
sure.
always plan like fun dinners and like stay in the same hotels. So it's like you're always busy. But yeah, I was traveling all the time and I'm really excited to get back out there. My first stop, I'm dreaming of going back to Paris. That's what I really miss.
That's where your heart is.
Yeah.
Um, I was at the airport yesterday, and I will be there today. And so I was in LaGuardia yesterday, and my husband was at JFK. Both of us in the morning. We had 7 a.m. flights, and for the TSA pre-check on Clear, there was a line
No.
out the door.
Crazy.
I have not seen an airport this crowded since like Christmas of another year. And then my
Wow.
husband said the same thing was going on at JFK.
Wow. Crazy.
What?
Yeah. I was gonna travel this summer, go away for a little bit. But like I hear things in Europe are like not fully like they're open, and there's like there's like in Mykonos, everything closes at 1 o'clock, and everything's at capacity after three.
AM, you mean?
Yeah, and you
One in the
don't go to
morning.
dinner there until 11 o'clock, and so I
Well,
think I'm
I'm
just
part of the we have kids
right.
Mykonos community. So
Yeah,
like we're
yeah.
asleep by then.
Yeah, so I think maybe I'll do a little weekend bachelorette in Vegas.
Yeah, you're gonna have to. Oh, somebody's asking that I reintroduce you. Well, I have you here. Would you please introduce yourself in the way that you like to be introduced?
Yes, I'm Sasha Bikoff. I'm an interior designer in New York, and all
And
over
the
the
world.
world. And I'm here with the iconic, inspirational Alexa Hampton, and
Okay,
we
I didn't
are
mean it. No,
chatting.
I just wanted to. Well, first I wanted to hear you pronounce your last name because I didn't want to get it wrong.
It's
So,
Bikoff. A
Bikoff.
lot of people think it's Bikoff, but it's Bikoff.
I thought it was Bikoff, so I'm so glad
Oh
you
yeah,
said
no
it.
worries.
Bikoff, Bikoff. Though a recent bad moment in which I reached out to you made me figure out that I was pronouncing your name wrong. That ridiculous thing in that ridiculous magazine. Um,
Yeah.
which had nothing to do with actually Sasha. It was a weird tangential thing, and I'm
Yeah.
making it sound like it's a big thing. It wasn't. So tell me about your office and how you've constructed it from when you first went out to now. And I love that you say you do everything on your own. I
Mhm.
frequently have been on my own, but in the last few years I've gotten in the habit of being with somebody, and I gotta say, it's really nice.
I'm sure. I'm sure. I think that like I have such an issue with control that it's just hard for me. But I think that like once I have kids and I'm gonna need
Well, there,
that
yeah, and there are
extra
different ways of
help.
handling it. There are
Yeah.
different modalities.
Yeah. I mean, it's historically it's just been me. So I'm like
So nobody else in your office? How many people
no,
are
no, no.
supporting you doing
I've
paperwork
had
and?
so I historically I've had I lived in this two-story townhouse, and the first floor was my showroom, was my office, and then the second floor was my apartment. And I have two dogs, and it
Was
was a
your
really
queendom?
my queendom, and it felt like very French and English, and like on a tree-lined street, like 12th
Hmm.
Street, West Village. It was like very
Yeah.
charming, a huge garden in the back, and it felt more like an atelier, and I would have editors over for breakfast, and I had all of my pieces displayed. There was a point when I did have a store in Tribeca, which was also great, and I was working out of there. And then when COVID hit, like things kind of I got rid of that space, and I ended up moving to Miami for six
Oh, you
months and
moved.
yeah, and I
Good for
rented a
you.
place in Miami for 6 months because I had a lot of clients that had moved down there, got places down there, and I was working in like Palm Beach and Miami, and so everything was kind of remote at that point. So then I just got back from Miami recently, and I'm kind of spending the summer out here in East Hampton. We're still pretty remote.
Uh-huh.
And I think that come September, after Labor Day weekend, I'm going to, start it up again with the office, with having everyone come in. And I'm ready to get that going now. But I'm going to soak up the last few months of the summer and COVID with the work from home thing.
Yeah, and I feel like so many people have flipped their parsing out of how much time at an office versus how much time at home. So instead
Yeah.
of the 5 day, 2 day, they're doing the 2 day, 5 day.
Yeah. I mean,
So they're still working, but they're just not at their place of business.
yeah, for me, the truth is that my happy place of work and where I work best is between like 1 and 5 in the morning in my bed.
Yeah.
I'm a
I
night
work my best
owl.
between 11 a.m. and 11:15 a.m. It's
Yeah,
a very
I
small window.
I'm like my mind gets going. My ideas like really late at night. I'm doing so much research. I'm doing designing. I'm putting mood boards together and stuff. It all
So you
happens.
live in the rabbit hole.
I live in the rabbit hole. I like come alive. I come alive at night.
So cool. I want to
Yeah,
hang out. Can we hang
yeah.
out?
And then I could like
Um,
sleep till 12 o'clock. So
oh, I totally, my body prefers to be asleep in the morning.
me too.
It doesn't matter how early I try to go to sleep. I'm really dead asleep at 7 a.m. That's
Yeah.
my happy sleep place. Though, it's funny, two of the things that you mentioned, your dogs and your mother and being like, where is it? When is it going to be delivered? Last night I always have very vivid dreams, and sometimes my dreams, I am doing work, though that sounds bizarre, but I'll wake up with a good idea. Or sometimes I'll wake up thinking I had a great idea and it's a terrible idea. But
Mhm.
last night I dreamt that my dog died and that a sofa that really, really needed to be in for a party a client's having in Ohio did not make it. And I woke up all crazy and out of sorts.
That happens to me all the time.
I mean, I
It
had
happens
to, it
all
was
the
when I
time.
was brushing my teeth when I realized that the sofa thing was a dream, that it
Mhm.
wasn't actually. And I heard that in my dream, I had heard that an article was being written that this was the worst installation of all time.
Oh,
It's
I
like very telling. It reveals to you what I care about.
I
Like
know.
my
I
dog, my reputation, making my clients happy. The only thing that was
Mhm.
missing were thank God my kids and my husband weren't in it. Otherwise they would have been
Right.
blown
It
to
happens
bits.
all the time. Like the anxiety sets in sometimes, but I'll never share or show that anxiety with anyone. I will just keep it to myself and
Good
deal
for
with it.
you. I'm glad you have the strength to do that.
Yeah.
Um, Yeah.
Mhm.
When you meet with clients and they're interviewing you for the first time, what do you like them to know about you? The reason I ask, and I do this on all of these talks, and that's why I'm just like really so tremendously fascinated about how other people do their thing, is because
Mhm.
I've only ever worked in this one office.
Yeah.
I have never worked anywhere else, and there's so many different ways to do it.
Yeah. I think that for me, like the most important thing that I like to get across is like trust and transparency and like exactly how I work with like budgeting and with payments and so that people understand that this is like that they don't have like that they're going to be able to see everything and that there is this mutual trust and there is this
Totally.
transparency with all this stuff because a lot of times, especially when people have never worked with a designer before, like there is kind of a reputation that like designers will scam you and they'll do this and they won't do the
It's
discounts
ridiculous.
and
Yeah,
and so
I
like
keep every blessed piece of paper, and
me too.
if
So
they need
I
to look at it, I've got it.
me too. So like I'm always like this is a very like very thorough, very transparent, very clear cut. There's like nothing I'm hiding. So that's the first thing. The second thing that I always mention is that like this is an art. This isn't a science. So like trust the process. Like this is realistically how much time this is going to take and that I'm only showing you the best of the best. Like I could be looking at thousands and thousands of fabrics and wallpapers, but I'm sending you my top four and you need to trust that's my top four, you know. And so that's that's kind of what I like to relay because a lot of people are like,
Yeah.
well, you only sent me like four mood boards. And I was like, but it took me like, 3 weeks to put these together.
Yeah. No, no, no. That's an annoying thing anyway.
Yeah.
Um, you know, I once heard Lee Mindell say to somebody, or maybe he was just telling the anecdote, that a client had said to him, why am I paying you all this money? You made that decision in 10 minutes. And he said, yeah, but it's the 30 years that have made me able to make it in 10 minutes.
Oh, 100%. And like for me,
And
I know,
talent is
yeah,
hopefully talent.
yeah. I think that like as like the designers like myself, I work on my instinct and I work on like you know, my bank of not like I have my mind, I have fabrics and wallpapers that I love that are in my mind bank that I've never used that I go to when I get the opportunity, when it's the right place to use them. So it's like you're paying and you're getting my instinct, my gut feeling, my first reaction, which is what you want.
Though I don't actually think it's just gut. I mean, gut
Yeah,
makes it sound somehow loosey goosey. I
yeah,
think that's a way to say it, but I
yeah.
think like you are informed, you have had training, and not just in design, you've had training in fashion, you've had training in galleries, that
Mhm,
these are different disciplines that you're bringing to, like just hearing you talk about it, you're bringing lots of things
mhm.
into it that aren't necessarily on the linear path of interior design. And it's not you can call it your gut, but what it really is your reserves of knowledge.
Yeah,
It deserves more respect than just being your gut, because it's not just your gut.
yeah.
um, but uh but what about, okay, so this is where I always, on the one hand, of course, I just want to be talented and amazing and do whatever,
Mhm.
but I desperately want the client to be happy,
Oh,
desperately.
me too. That's my number one
um
thing.
So if they say like you send the four things and they don't like the four things, like of course there are more than four things on earth. Like it's okay. You
Right.
don't have to feel stressed, because I do want them to look at it and feel on some sort of like DNA level that
Hmm.
the thing that they love, they love.
Hmm. Well, I really I understand that this is a client-based business and we're in the business of making our clients happy as they're paying for our services.
Mhm.
And my goal is to make my clients happy 100%.
Yeah,
And if they're not happy with something, then I work my ass off on making
yeah,
it better, whether it's returning. Like I had a client that bought this extremely expensive one of a kind mirror and we went to see it together and it was like my top choice and we both loved it and I've loved it for years and it's like the most amazing mirror ever and then we installed it in her house and she really didn't like it and it's not the type of thing that you could return or exchange but I pleaded with the gallery like can we get some kind of credit this and that like the gallery was so sweet and said we
and
can
you were saying I'll make you whole in one way or the other.
yeah like but then at the same time I was like telling my client that like, you know, like let's try and make this piece work because I really believe in it. Like and I was like, the space is not finished yet. We're jumping the gun here.
Whoa, Rudy Giuliani suspended from practicing in New York. Sorry, just
Oh my
flashed on
God,
my screen. Okay,
crazy.
so did she go for
So
it?
so she ends up keeping it.
And it looks amazing.
And it looks amazing. It's like the amazing piece. But I
And
was
she
like,
saw that you were willing to dance as fast as you could to help
exactly,
her resolve it. Yeah. Okay,
exactly.
good. Because you sound like super ballsy, but it's nice to hear that you're human. You
Yeah.
know that
Well,
you're desperate to please them the way
oh yeah,
so many of us are.
I think I'm like a problem solver, I'm like a fixer,
Yeah,
that TV show, Kerry Washington.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Scandal.
Scandal, exactly.
Um, and the hot president.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, it is good to think about that way too, because to call yourself a fixer is to empower yourself with tools. It's like, I am a skilled fixer. I'm not just an artist and a talent. I've got the goods.
Mm-hmm.
Um, what kind of jobs? Well, I have a fantasy that I try to drag everybody into. So
Mm-hmm.
I want somebody to hire us all to do a boutique hotel. So
Wow.
it sounds to me like you want to do the lobby,
I my
because
yeah,
what you said about public
yeah.
facing.
My dream is to do a hotel, and I was actually working on one in Mexico, and I designed like the most incredible space, and I was so excited about, but it fell through. Like, it fell through this past year.
Well, I
But
mean, it wasn't the year for a hotel for sure.
yeah, yeah. But my dream is to do a hotel, whether it's like a boutique hotel in South Beach or something in Paris or really anywhere really. I would love to like, yeah, you're right, like do the lobby, the bar, the lounge. I'd love to like
Mhm.
do each room kind of a little bit of a different feel
Yeah.
and
Oh, not
name,
just a little. I
yeah,
want like a floor, and I
yeah,
want to do each one completely different. Like
and
one would
name them.
be Moroccan and have
Yeah.
like you'd have a tented bed and the mattress on the ground. And
Yeah.
with my knees, I'd never be able to get back up again. That would be a problem. But somebody would drag me out into the next room.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that would be so much. Some really smart and rich hotelier needs to do that, because
I
there's so
know.
many of us who are dying to
I
do it.
think that there are not so many of them.
No, no, no. Understood.
I think
Understood.
that,
And they're all focused on their quote unquote brand,
yeah,
which I get.
I was at this hotel in Cabo over the weekend, and I felt like it was so stark and inauthentic and like kind of like, convention centery. And I was like, if I were to do this hotel in Cabo, like it would be like, the glory days of Cabo in Mexico. And it would be in its natural state and it would be authentic and amazing. And I just like, I feel like a lot of these developers are just like they're just going with this like same ordinary basic recipe.
Right.
So
And
like
for what's the Studio 54 guy's name?
Ian
The,
Traeger,
for amazing Ian Traeger, who does it right. Like, he
yeah,
owns that. Like,
yeah,
that's
like
Ian Traeger. He's got it
he
figured out. Don't try and do that.
exactly. And I think that like when like I love traveling in hotels and hospitality, like that's like
Totally.
a passion of mine. Like I love to stay in places that are vibe, that are mood, that excite you.
Yeah, I
And
like that was one of your words, vibey.
vibey, it's all about the vibe because like you want to create these memories through the interiors, and it's not necessarily how you're going to live in your home or how you're going to
No,
decorate
no, no.
your home, but it's where you want to stay when you're in a hotel. Like a perfect example is like like the Cost hotels in Paris, like they're so dark and like velvet and heavy and
Yeah,
brocade.
very Napoleon the
Very
Third, and
Napoleon, like you can't necessarily, or like Le Hotel, like that other little one, like you can't necessarily like live in that in your as your
I
home.
could.
You could maybe, but like for a hotel suite, like when you're going away with like whatever, it's like it's the hottest thing ever.
Yeah, totally.
Mm-hmm.
Totally. Yeah, it's embracing the fantasy, which is like, I don't mind inauthenticity if it's in pursuit of fantasy attainment.
Agreed. You have a way with
Like
your work.
my my daughter, when she was like 4 years old, we were walking down the street, and I do love words, and my family loves words, and we're all wordy people.
Mm-hmm.
I said something to my daughter, and she turned to me, and I tell you, she was 3, 4 max, and she said, "Oh, mommy, you and your words." Like, oh my god, I just got slimed by my 4-year-old.
That's so funny.
But yeah, I do think all of these things are so important for us to think about, because somebody could make something authentic for the sake of authenticity. Like, we're never just doing anything for the sake of.
Mm-hmm.
We're
Mm-hmm.
doing it for your reaction to
Mm-hmm.
your experience in. There's so much fun to be had. I want to go to Luke Edward Hall in the Hôtel de Gare. De Gare. Um, I love to throw in a hard French R when I'm in the
Yeah.
mood. um, well, okay, we know you're going to go to Paris. Where are you going on your honeymoon? Miami?
So we haven't planned. No, I'm like, that's like too normal for me.
To home. Yeah.
I want to go on a safari in Africa and like do that whole thing and travel around. And I love animals, so I've never done it before, but I think we're probably going to wait a little bit and
Yeah.
plan that sometime in the near future.
Yeah. Can I ask what your menu is for your wedding? And you can say,
Yeah.
shut up, it's a surprise.
So we're having this amazing chef from Israel who we're both friends with come in, who's doing the food experience. And I just like wanted like very sexy fire food that like you eat with your hands, like
Uh-huh.
'cause the wedding's on the beach. So we're
Are
gonna
you going to have like a beautiful bib put on you so you can?
no, I'm actually not probably won't eat until like late in the
Right,
night.
right, right, right.
You get like so stuck on dancing and drinking that there's really no time to eat. But we're doing like like a big lamb on the Spitfire, like fish. We're doing like he does this beautiful like table of like vegetables, but in mosaic in a mosaic
Yeah,
pattern.
yeah, yeah. Oh,
And then
beautiful.
he does like it's just going to be all this food on the fire, and then he's going to do like a beautiful crudo station, and he serves on like gold cardboard paper and parchment paper,
Yeah,
and he's
yeah,
like so it's very like earthy
yeah.
Mediterranean Israeli style.
Yum. And
Yeah,
it sounds decadent.
it's going to be really decadent and like juicy
Yeah.
stuff, like a lot of like just sexy juicy earthy flavors.
I forgot what you answered was your drink. What's your drink?
A martini,
A martini.
a
Dirty?
classic martini, straight up with olives or with the twist. And then I also love an espresso martini.
I have never had one of those. I
Oh my god.
can't. That must be like Red Bull and booze.
Yeah,
I'm
it's
trying not to
really
drink this year, but I'm having a hiccup right this
yeah,
moment.
an espresso martini is like a drink that I'll have like the first drink of the night to give me that extra like thing.
Right. Some
Yeah.
zing, and then you can start your
Yeah.
descent thereafter. Um, I am so happy to have spoken to you. I'm going to hair off a little bit because I have a plane. um, can we? Oh well, first of all, for tons of people wanted to see the staircase. Do you have a great website?
Yes, it's just my name, sashabikoff.com.
Okay, so hold on. I'm going to look at it right now and tell everybody how to get on it. Um, and I do think, God, I feel like your experience with Versace and the fashion part. Oh, it says it's Oh no, I'm in the Marriott. Marriott, hire me. You need me. I live at Marriott's, or what's the other one? Starwood, because they're all in that
Yeah.
group together. Okay, Sasha Bikoff. It says the connection is lost. Okay, I'm gonna look at it later. Is it? So it's not on your landing page.
Yep, you just go to
It is,
sashabikoff.com.
but the staircase is on your landing page. When did you get a beautiful website?
It's kind of been a work in progress, but I actually want to redo it. I feel like websites are the type of thing where you kind of have to like do it and keep
Here.
getting at it, but I want to fix it up a little bit. It's been some time.
Yeah, that was fun. Oh, look at that chandelier.
A lot of
Oh,
designers I've been looking at some designers' websites, and they're like so high tech right now. So I got to get with the program.
I don't think mine is high tech. Mine is beautiful though, and
Yeah.
I think it's beautiful. And I had one where I had coyly put like a construction sign on for a couple of decades,
Mm-hmm.
and like under construction, just kind of like putting off the decision. And
Mm-hmm.
then my accountant said, "You need to invest in a website." That's
Yeah.
how bad it was.
Well,
That's like a measure of horror.
right.
Okay, everybody, this
Yep.
is the amazing stair
Mm-hmm.
hall. I mean, you know what also was so great about that is it was so wild and so inspired that, love it or hate it, people needed to see it.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, everybody loved it. But like, even if there was some, 100-year-old person who walked in and was like, I don't get it. It was the greatest thing for Kips Bay. This is what you, if you're doing Kips Bay or a show house, people show up. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, what a calling card.
Yeah. I would.
And I love the David Bowie
I would like
lightning
to.
bolts.
I'd like to do it again. I would really like to do Kips Bay and Palm Beach. I'm ready.
I
I'm ready
I
to.
feel pretty good about your chances.
Yeah, I'm ready to take on Palm Beach when they would like to have me again. I'm. That would be a big, big, big dream of mine for sure. I haven't done a show house in a while, so
Well, we've all been kind of
I know.
offline.
I know.
Did you I've got to go, but I just want to talk to you. Did your dogs keep you, they keep you happy?
Oh yeah, they're great.
What kind of dogs do you have?
I have a Pomeranian named Puff Daddy, and
Uh-huh.
I have a golden doodle named Dipsy.
Dippity?
Dipsy.
Oh, Dipsy.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Puff Daddy's actually pretty famous. He's been in Vogue Japan. He's been in Vogue Korea. He was the Savoir dog bed. Dog.
Oh, hi, Puff Daddy. Hi.
He's
Hi.
funny. Yeah.
Well, oh,
I call them my assistants or my little upholsterer.
and I love seeing like the tiny, tiny glimpses I'm getting of your house. Um, are you going to shoot your house for the wedding? I hope.
I am. I'm gonna do. We're working on the garage and guest house right now, so hopefully in a month we're gonna be able to shoot the whole house. There was a
Cool.
little glimpse on AD with a video I did with Mile, but you
Yeah.
didn't see the whole house.
Okay, cool. Well, I will check it out. The glasses are Kirk and Kirk for you who's asking. Um, and oh yes, your dog is white. He's a blank canvas for you. That's adorable.
Yes.
Um,
My other
thank you
dog,
so much, Sasha. Hello, Dipsy,
Dipsy.
Dipsy. Oh, she's so sweet. That makes me think of my dog. Have a wonderful day. Thank you for doing
Thank
this early for me,
you.
especially now that I know you're a night owl. It is great seeing you. You're very exciting to watch, and I'm just thrilled to see you go to skyrocket.
Thank you so much, Alexa. Have a safe flight.
Thank you and congratulations.
Okay, bye.
Bye.